Hi Year 7, welcome back to Mathematics for your next video lesson. Today we are starting a brand new topic, so if you have your maths book with you, it'd be a good idea to make a new title page called Area and Volume. Today we're starting off with a lesson on perimeter and area, so that's your heading for today's lesson. Okay, before we talk about perimeter and area, we need to do a quick recap of some metric units that we use for length in mathematics. So I want you to, in a second, pause the video for me and think about how many of these conversions you think you already know the answer to. So we're working between centimeters, millimeters, meters, and kilometers. See how you go? I'll go through the answers in just a sec. Okay, so for the first one, if you've got a 30 centimeter ruler somewhere, you will see that between each of the centimeter increments, there should be 10 little millimeter lines. This is because in 1 centimeter, there are 10 millimeters. Okay, and for the next one, if you have a 1 meter ruler lying around, which you probably don't, but I've got a few in my classroom, a 1 meter ruler is comprised of 100 centimeters. So a meter is 100 centimeters. And now in mathematics, whenever we're talking about something with a K in front of it, like a kilogram or a kilometer, that K for kilo always refers to thousands. Okay, so 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. Like if I said I was going to give you 5K in cash, that would be me saying I'm going to give you $5,000 in cash, which I will not do. Okay, and for D, we've got 1 meter is how many millimeters. Now for this one, you got to be aware that when I'm talking about milli, I usually mean 1,000th. What I mean by that is if you had 1,000 milliliters, you would have 1 liter. It's the same thing here. If we have 1,000 millimeters, we've got 1 meter. So the conversion is 1 to 1,000, just like liters to milliliters. Okay, for question E, so we said over on the left here that 10 millimeters is 1 centimeter. So 40 millimeters is going to be 4 lots of 10. So we've got 4 centimeters. For F, we have 2.5 meters, so 2.5 meters. Each of those meters is 100 centimeters. So we have 2.5 lots of 100. So we've got 250 centimeters. For G, every 1,000 meters is going to be 1 kilometer. So we've got 8,500 meters. So we have 8.5 kilometers, so 8.5. And then we said over here that a meter is 1,000 millimeters. So 7 meters is going to give us 7,000 millimeters. Well done if you got a lot of those correct all by yourself before I told you the answers. Okay, up next, we're going to talk about what's called perimeter. Now, here I have this blue shape is a rectangle. It's got a length of 5 centimeters and it's got a width or a height of 3 centimeters. So sometimes we'll call these the breadth and the width. Quite often I like to call them the base and the height, which you'll see why later on. Now, if we're talking about the perimeter of this shape, what we're actually talking about is the distance around the outside. So this rectangle has 4 sides. If we add together the 4 side lengths, we will get an answer for what is called the perimeter of the shape. Okay, so jot down for me that the perimeter is the distance around the outside of a 2D figure. For this example, if we did 5 plus 3 plus 5 plus 3, we would get our perimeter of 16 centimeters. So distance around the outside is 16. That is your perimeter. Okay, let's do a few more examples of finding the perimeter of some shapes. So here are 3 shapes I want you to quickly sketch down for me. And then I want you to think about how you would calculate the perimeter of these shapes. Have a go before I put the answers up on the screen. Okay, for the first one, we have a square. So we have 4 side lengths. They are all 11 millimeters. So we'll add 11 4 times. If we do that, we get 4 lots of 11, which is 44. So we've got 44 millimeters as our perimeter. For the one in the middle, we have another rectangle. So we're going to be doing 35 plus 10 plus 35 plus 10 to add together all 4 sides. So 35 plus 35 is 70. And then we add 2 10s and we get 90 and we have meters. So we got 90 meters for our perimeter. For the last one, this shape is actually a trapezium because it's a quadrilateral where we've got 2 parallel sides. Kind of looks more like a trapezium if you turn your head sideways, but just trust me for now, it is a trapezium. These line markings here, the double dash here and here, this is the way the diagram is telling us that both of these side lengths here and here are the same thing. They're both going to be 40 millimeters. So once we know that, we've just got to add up the 4 side lengths to find our perimeter. So we've got to do 75 plus 53 plus 40 plus 40, which is a bit of a tough one. You might need a calculator to check that one for you. We should get an answer of 208 millimeters as our perimeter. Okay, beautiful. Now moving on, we can start talking about the area of a shape rather than the perimeter of a shape. So we're back to our blue rectangle, a base of 5 and a height of 3. We're just going to cut these into some blocks because when we're talking about the area, we are talking about how much space is inside the boundaries of the shape. So the perimeter is the outside of the shape and the area is how much space inside. So if we draw some lines, here are my 5 centimeter gaps for the base, which is 5 centimeters. Here are my gaps for the 3 centimeter height. So we've got a lot of blocks in here, okay? If we just look at one of these blocks, okay, this one here, it's a block that is 1 centimeter wide and 1 centimeter tall. So it's a square. It is a 1 centimeter square, and that's what we're going to call it. It's a 1 square centimeter. The way we write that in maths is we do 1 centimeter and we do a power of 2, which means squared. Okay? So this is us saying this space right here is a square centimeter. Now, if we're finding the area of the shape, we're trying to find how many of these square centimeters are inside our boundary. Well, we've got a row of 5 and we've got 3 rows. So to count up all these squares, if we don't want to just do some counting, we can do some multiplying. We can do 5 multiplied by 3, and that's going to get us our area. We've got 15 blocks, so our area is 15 square centimeters. 15 little square centimeter blocks. Okay? So the shortcut we're going to use for any rectangle or any square is if you want to find the area, you've just got to do the base multiplied by the height. So in this one, we did 5 times 3. Don't forget to put your square units, and then you're all good. That's the only trick to it. Let's do a few practice questions. Once again, draw these 3 figures for me and see if you can calculate the area and leave your answer with the correct units. Okay, for the first one on the left, we've got another square. So to find the area, we're going to do the base times the height. So we're going to do 2 times 2. We're going to get an answer of 4 because our units for our length were centimeters. Our area is going to be square centimeters. So we write centimeters squared. Okay, base times height. Same thing for the one in the middle. It's a rectangle, but our process is the same. We are going to do the base multiplied by the height. So we have to do 12 multiplied by 8. Because our units were millimeters, we of course need to write square millimeters with our units. So 12 eighths are 96. So we have 96 square millimeters. And the tough one on the end, we've got a base of 32 and we've got a height of 14. So those are our 2 dimensions that we are going to multiply together. So we'll do area equals 14 times 32. Again, bit of a tough one. Might need a calculator to double check this answer. But we should be getting 448 for the number. And our units is meters to the power of 2, square meters. Okay, cool. Hopefully you got some of those by yourself. We're going to finish off today with just a couple of optional challenge questions. If you found those questions easy, these ones are going to get your brain working. We have a bit of an L shape and we've got another weird L shape here. We are going to find the perimeter and the area of these 2 shapes. So if you like a challenge, please pause the video and see if you can figure it out by yourself now, and then I'll go through the solution in just a second. Okay, coolio. For the first one, if we want to find the perimeter to start off, well, the issue is we have a couple of missing sides. We don't know what the length here is and what the length here is. But we can get those answers pretty quickly with just a little bit of logic. So let's think, why is this length here going to be 9 meters? Well, if this length down the bottom here is 12 and this length up here is 3, we're kind of asking ourselves 3 plus what gets us a total length of 12. So this long bit on the bottom is going to be this bit and this bit plus together, which makes it has to be 12 because 3 plus 9 is 12. Same thing for the left here. We've got this part here, this missing length here is going to add with 3 on the bottom and it's going to make 10. So that length there must be 7 And now we have all of our side lengths, and we can find the perimeter by adding them all together. So we'll do 10 plus 3 plus 7 plus 9 plus 3 plus 12. If I did it correctly, you should be getting 44 meters as your perimeter. Now for the area, what needs to happen is we need to cut this L shape into a couple of shapes that we can actually know how to find the area of. So there's a few ways of doing this. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to do an imaginary slice across here. Now I've cut this L shape into two rectangles, and we're going to find the area of the two rectangles, and we're going to plus them together. So this rectangle up the top here, we've got a length of 3 and a height of 7. So if we do 7 times 3, we get 21 as the area for this part. For the rectangle down the bottom, we've got a base of 12 and we've got a height of 3. So we're going to do 12 multiplied by 3. So we get 36 as the area for this block. Now to find the total area, we just need to add 21 and 36, and then you've got your answer. So we did 3 times 7, and then we did 3 times 12 for the bottom part. We're going to add them together, and we're going to get a final answer of 57 square meters. Okay, cool. If that made sense, you might want to have a go at this next one by yourself. It's probably a little bit easier, but if you're still not super sure, you can just wait and I'll talk through it in just a second. Okay, once again, starting off with perimeter, we've got a couple of unknown sides to find. We've got to find this long one down the bottom and this short one on the side here. Now the long one on the bottom is going to be this 8 plus with this 2, which is going to give us a 10. And the one on the side here, well, we've got 5 over on the left, and this right here is 2, which means that length there must be 3, because 3 plus 2 makes 5. Cool, now we have the side lengths. We're going to add them all together and we're going to get our perimeter. So 5 plus 8 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 10. My answer was 30 centimeters for the perimeter. Okay, now last little bit, we're going to find the area. Once again, we're just going to cut this shape into two shapes that are a bit more friendly. So I'm just going to slice down here because now I have a square and a rectangle, which are easy to handle. So the square is going to have an area of 4 because 2 times 2 is 4. And the rectangle here is 8 centimeters wide, and it's 5 centimeters tall. So to find the area, I'll do 8 times 5 and I'll get 40. And now just add these two together and we'll get our total area is 44 centimeters or square centimeters. Awesome work if you already got that by yourself. So we've done 2 times 2 plus 5 times 8, and we get a final answer of 44 square meters. Oh, sorry, that should say square centimeters. That's a mistake. Pardon me. Okay, that's going to do it for today's lesson. There'll be some more questions for you to practice posted on Google Classroom. As always, please let me know if you need more help with any of those questions or if you need more examples, just let me know. Thank you so much if you watched this, and I'll see you guys later on. Cheers.